Real-life Daredevil can masterfully maneuver despite total blindness. Unfortunately, it's just a dog.
Oregon says it's okay to kiss again, just in case you made a love connection while violently rioting in Portland.
Haunted house accused of being too scary after stabbing kid with actual knife.
The WWE has introduced a super woke wrestler, unfortunately not named Woke Hogan or the ultimate social justice warrior. Opportunity wasted.
In other dog news, this dog has the longest ears on Earth. And you can see.
The governor of New York says the vaccine is from God, causing atheists to seek exemptions based on lack of religious beliefs.
All this and more on...
The Bee Weekly.
The bee or not the bee? That is the question I ask myself every morning as I drink from my The Bee or Not the Bee mug. Now you too can drink from this amazing coffee cup and ask yourself the same question. Which is better? It's so hard to decide. In fact, I would say it's absolutely the Babylon Bee, but Not the Bee is pretty cool too. Enjoy this mug. All right, here we are. We're at the Babylon Bee podcast. And Kyle's disappeared again.
Poof.
So to fill those giant shoes, you will be Kyle's left shoe, Adam Yenser.
I'm here again. Thanks for having me.
And Kyle's right shoe will be filled by Kira.
And a fly is here
Kira
joining
Davis.
us.
And then we have a fly here.
There is a very annoying fly in the studio, but we're professionals. We're going to work around it. We're not going to let it throw us off our
I'm going to
game.
mention it every single time.
It likes foreheads. It keeps landing on my temples and forehead. So
we're off to a great start already, you guys.
It, probably.
This is already the best podcast ever.
Of course. So quick, I want you guys to know this. We have a new book coming out called The Babylon Bee Guide to Wokeness. And as a podcast viewer, we know that you guys are, the best Babylon Bee fans or allies or what do you want to call you? I always hate the word fans. So
you went with allies?
Allies. Babylon Bee.
It's a good woke. It's
Sounds
a good
like you guys are
wokeness
going
term.
marching. Yeah. You guys can go
You guys
protest.
are Babylon Bee adjacent.
Yes.
So the book hits November 2nd, and we're recruiting a launch team. So, because when books come out, you need those reviews to roll in. So we'll provide a link in the show notes. If you can pre-order the book, you're going to get an early digital copy from our publisher, and then the publisher is going to bug the heck out of you to read it as soon as possible so that you're all ready to write those reviews, good reviews, on the day it launches. So join our launch team, watch the little video Kyle put together, and help us out. Now, we have a YouTube comment from last week. You may have caught our interview with Dr. Mary Graybar, who was debunking the 1619 Project, and we received a lot of criticism for this interview.
Really?
We were trying to be... we've been trying some new stuff with interviews, and every question we asked her was so stupid. And she's like a smart...
Very serious person.
debunker, Like I asked her, do you sleep in a debunked bed? And just dumb
But then what was the dumb question?
And a lot of people are like that poor woman. So for instance, this lady, or it's this one we have here, YouTube comment we got, Mark, not a lady. She is delightful and far too educated for this particular interview. It was cute to see her move from stunned surprise to laughter once she realized she was at Animal House, not Stanford.
That's cute.
Now, behind the scenes, we actually told her, we're going to ask you nothing but really dumb questions. They're actually we actually wrote straight questions and then we turned them into dumb questions so they would get a similar answer. But we warned her ahead of time, it's going to be really dumb.
Yeah.
We're just going to see how it works. I'm not convinced it worked super great, but...
How did she react when you told her that? Did you see the instant regret for agreeing to the
She was a
interview,
great
or?
sport. She's like,
good.
all right.
Nice.
She's fine with it. And she laughed at the end and said she had fun. And but we told her, it's okay. It's actually funny if you look confused or even a little offended.
Yeah, play it straight.
Yeah, she was great because she played it straight. And it does look like we're
I love it. Well, Zach Galifianakis when he does Between Two Ferns. It's it's fun when they play it straight, folks. So that's the fun part.
So people are a little thrown off by that.
Yeah.
But,
everybody knows what the Babylon Bee is. She's not.
they?
She's obviously an intelligent person. Yeah. She knew where she was coming before she
didn't
got
leave
here.
offended, just so you guys understand that. Yeah.
No.
We're nice guys.
There are very few people I've heard of leaving to be offended. One or two, maybe.
Who has left offended?
Can you say their
I
name?
can't
Are you
name
allowed
them.
to say?
I can't name
Oh,
them.
man.
We have had a few.
I know
Oh,
there's
man.
been one or two.
Yeah, that was a great story. Someday, when I moved on from the company and I can't get sued, I have some great stories to tell.
After he's dead, just leave it in the will.
Yeah.
Just leave it in the will, and that so Ethan said we can open
Favorite.
this will a week
We have
after he dies.
recordings. Oh gosh. Okay, moving on. I can't move on.
Someday you can share those stories, and I'll share Ellen's stories.
All right. Yeah, we'll get together. Old men on the porch.
Yeah.
Just don't care anymore.
Exactly.
90-something. This is why it's so sad that Norm Macdonald passed.
Yeah,
Because he already
would tell
didn't
the stories.
care at all.
Yep.
But imagine that much not caring.
Oh, yeah.
90-something.
That's what David Spade's tweet about after Norm passed in just the hours following. I mean, I want to just frame it, but it said Normie, one of the last comedians who just didn't give a F.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it was like, that is the perfect description of who he was. He just didn't care. Anyways.
Yeah. We could talk about Norm for the whole show.
I could.
If we wanted to.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into a subscriber dare. Oh, actually, first, make sure you don't miss our FBI sketch we posted this week. It's doing great, and it was funny. A lot of bad gun safety in it. We all have our fingers on triggers.
Oh my gosh, I get so nervous at your guys' sketches because you guys have gun. They always have gun props, and
They look real.
I'm very pro gun. I own guns, but I always try to be very safe with them, even when they're props. But then the script is always he pushes it against his temple and pulls the trigger over and over again. It's there's just no way to.
Adam got to sneak up behind me and put a gun to my temple.
I did, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Particular sketch.
Yeah.
And we had a real cop.
Yeah.
Being on the sketch. He's a huge Babylon Bee fan. And our new office assistant here, Bettina, it's hey, I got a buddy. He's a cop. He loves you guys. Could he be in the sketch? Yeah, he looks the most real-looking guy in there.
Yeah.
The most real-looking guy,
Yeah.
as opposed to all the other guys.
Yeah, no, we're all, me and Josh Denny.
We got Josh Denny in there. Yeah.
Josh Denny's in there. And we were in a hot
Oh my gosh.
garage. So you'll notice all the sweat, which is great because
It's very realistic.
Yeah,
It's
because we're all supposed to be really nervous and tense because it's like a Mexican standoff.
Yeah.
And we're just draining sweat. And for subscribers, we have the outtakes, and you can see at the end of it, I'm in the middle of a line, and I just go, my eyes are burning, because my sweat was just going into my eyes.
The struggle is real.
And we had a Matrix animation about the mandates, which is doing great. But it's one of my favorite animations we've done. It's just it just takes it to the extreme.
I'll have to go check it
It's
out.
a lot of fun. All right. Well, we've got a subscriber dare. So this is where we do whatever you ask in order to earn your paid subscription. Basically, it's you could call this Dance Monkey Dance.
This is Subscriber Dare.
So this is from Krista. And since this is written by a woman, how about Kira? Could you read this?
This is from Krista. Mm-hmm. Subscriber dare. I am a 29-year-old woman in the midst of dating woes. I would subscribe if you set me up with Seamus Coughlin or help me find a boyfriend.
It's very specific. I think he's got a girlfriend.
Okay, well, she has an or, which is help me find a boyfriend.
Okay.
Attached my eHarmony bio as reference. Oh, I like that she comes prepared. Mm-hmm. She's already making her case. Thank you. This suppose is from her bio here.
Yeah.
This is her bio, Krista. I have traditional values and want a Christ-centered relationship, no social media, huge fan of freedom, and highly allergic to cats. Hobbies are church, baking, working out, Dr. Peterson videos, and reading. Favorite movie, Lord of the Rings. Podcast recommendations, The Babylon Bee. Let's make monogamy great again. That's from Krista.
I think every single guy in our audience is slobbering. I like how she threw in one of her hobbies is working out. There's no photo, but
yeah,
she does work out.
That's a descriptor.
Yeah,
yeah,
smart.
It is smart. Church, baking, this is a woman who is going to be able, she likes to read, she's going to be able to challenge you intellectually and also bake
she
you.
likes Lord of the Rings, the only movie you're allowed to mention at the Babylon Bee.
Yeah.
Yep. In fact, the Babylon Bee, maybe we're missing a huge opportunity here. The Bee should have a dating service just for Lord of the Rings fans.
Yeah.
So it's like a Lord of the Rings dating app.
Well, if you become a subscriber, Krista, you're going to be in this group of exclusive people, And I think that there's a good chance of hooking, we eventually are probably going to have some Babylon Bee babies from all people that have met in the social media part of our site.
Yes.
And reproduced.
I love it.
But
and then they can start a commune and live together. And
she's the right age for Patrick. He's not here today. You don't hear the cackling. We're setting up for a sketch.
Yeah,
later.
How do we tell if we're funny if Patrick isn't here?
I know
laughing?
without Patrick, it's hard.
I heard Dan laughing a little bit.
You know you're doing good if Dan laughs.
Oh,
all right. Yeah, definitely. Patrick is a cutie. He's a sweetie. I don't know.
He's a Catholic. Can you do a Catholic?
Well, it feels like
some people think they're satanic, and some people are like, oh yeah, it's just like it's a Christian that
it's just a denomination
worships Mary too.
Yeah.
She didn't have anything in here about what denomination she was, or even if that
True.
mattered to her.
Yeah, wait. Oh no, she's Christ-centered. She wants a Christ-centered.
She's Christ-centered, and if she listens to Dr. Peterson, then you know that she's got a really good perspective on how other people feel about things, and she's probably very accepting about people who are different from her. And she's allergic to cats. I don't know Patrick's position on cats.
Yeah, I don't think he has one.
That's good that you know she's not going to wind up a crazy cat lady. She's
Yeah.
got
Right.
There's just a medical reason she can never do that.
You
That's
can
smart.
be a crazy dog lady, though. I've seen it with my own eyes. It's not pretty.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
You
moment you
don't
start
want that.
treating them as humans.
Right. If you have a
it's
stroller
like-
for your dog, that is like
Yeah,
your
but
dog literally has twice as many legs as you. Like it can walk.
That's weird in its own way, but usually that focuses around babying one dog, not having 50 different cats. I feel
True.
like. So
Yeah, that's a good
yeah.
point. That's fair, Adam. All right. Krista, are you a crazy dog person?
Yeah, and Krista, if you're ever in Southern California, we'll set you and Patrick up on a blind date, and we'll have hidden cameras and make it a segment of the show. Be awesome. All right.
It won't be weird at all.
All right, so we're going to look at the banger of the week. This is the story that did the best this week, that killed on social media. And I actually think it's a pretty funny one. Usually they're not that funny. They're just, sometimes not the best story of the week does well.
Banger of the
I think
week.
this is the Frank Fleming headline. Australian hospitals over capacity with people beaten by police for not wearing masks. Here's an excerpt from the story. And there was like a video that came out, right, of a woman being like choked out for not wearing a mask.
Yes. Yep.
I think that was the inspiration for this. While Australia has done well keeping case numbers down throughout the pandemic, their performance fighting the virus has been offset by the number of people getting curb stomped by police. Well, bugger! It's way over capacity here, mate,
It's not.
said one nurse in Sydney.
It's not the south side of London.
By the beard of a koala.
Sounds like you're doing Hobbit accents from Lord of the Rings.
Coming on in here, getting all. I can't do a female Australian.
I don't know. It is a hard one.
You
Let's
committed
see.
to this
Let's go
accent.
easy. Yeah, you're committed.
We didn't demand
Yeah.
it of you.
We got way too many wankers coming on in here, getting all cracked up by the bloody coppers, mate. In American English, this apparently means, well, gosh darn it, there's too many people in the hospital, y'all. By the beard of Abraham Lincoln, we have way too many people coming into this here hospital and getting beat up by the popo, dude. According to medical professionals in Australia, the concerning rise in people getting absolutely demolished by the police and having to get rushed to the hospital is exacerbated by the fact that hospitals are already overwhelmed with people who get bit by 2-story tall spiders, punched by kangaroos, and elbow dropped by drop bears. If you want to know more about drop bears, there's a portion in my book, Bears Want to Kill You.
Oh, yes.
Nice.
All right, and then we have the dud of the week. Now, this doesn't mean this is a bad story. It means that nobody shared it.
Dud of the week.
I feel like it means the title wasn't clickbaity enough.
Yeah,
I feel like
also
everything that does.
And usually
bad is
it wasn't about a current event.
Oh, okay.
Also, and it's usually one of the ones that are faith-based. So we get criticized all the time for not being Christians as we used to be. The fact is, like, our audience has shifted a lot, and those stories do not get the shares
Now
they
instead
used
of
to.
Christians, you have a bunch of Catholics.
We got Catholics coming in here, whatever you guys are.
I not felt so accusatory. I'm just not a Catholic. I'm just plain old Christian.
Okay.
Sorry.
Who wants to take the dud?
I'll do it.
All right.
Do it in an Australian accent.
Oh, boy. Man who said amen to prayer said in Spanish, not sure what he signed on to. When you say amen, you're like, legally obligated or whatever is said in that prayer, Sullivan explained. And I barely know a word of Spanish, so I have no
really good,
idea
actually.
what
Yeah,
he
that's
said in
pretty
that prayer. And I just told God I agreed with it. Sullivan said the prayer did seem reverent, and he did catch the word Dios in the prayer.
That means God.
And the reference to Dios seems to be positive. I mean, I'm probably okay, Sullivan stated. I'm just not 100% sure the prayer wasn't filled with blasphemies.
Crikey.
Really good.
Thank you.
Wow, you should have
Thank
read the
you.
last one. I'm sorry. I'm going to go back and edit you in.
Thank you
the
very
nurse.
much, everybody. I'm sure the Australians appreciate that.
Yeah, totally.
They can't watch this. They're all locked down.
That's
Yeah.
all right. It's probably banned in Australia
Yeah, they
anyways.
can't watch any American media.
Yeah.
Has COVID.
It is crazy what's happening there.
It's terrifying.
Let's look at some weird news.
Yay!
This news is weird.
This dog is so skilled that its new owner didn't know it was blind for nearly a year.
Amazing.
A border collie in the UK never puts a foot wrong. Oh, wait, this is the UK. Never puts a foot wrong.
There you go.
And can even navigate around puddles despite his blindness, leaving vets completely baffled by his condition. Go blimey! That's what the vets say. A top UK vet has declared the dog a medical mystery after confirming that the pooch is fully blind. What's more, Dave's owner, I guess the dog's name is Dave, Jane, didn't even realize he was blind until a year into their relationship. Relationship?
It's a weird way to describe a pet owner
Okay,
relationship.
can you read her quote there in a good British accent?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, now I got a. I'll try to do hoity-toity. It's just really strange, Jane said. He's a blind dog that can't see. That can see. Maybe it's a sixth sense. Who knows?
So I'm thinking this is Daredevil.
I like that you go for the upper class British accent.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
always go Cockney.
Yeah.
It's just strange. He's a blind dog that can see.
For me, I think, that hoity-toity thing
Yeah.
is more accessible, but this is why Brits are so good at doing Southern accents, because it is so close to that Cockney, right?
Yeah.
You got to exercise all the same muscles in your in your mouth. But it's very interesting. You know what? I'm skeptical. I think this dog can see.
You think it? Yeah. How can they know?
Maybe.
This dog might be the Helen Keller of dogs. A
I'm thinking
total fraud.
Oh wait, she's a fraud.
Oh, this is a thing that's come up now that Helen Keller actually was never blind and deaf and dumb. That
Wait,
it was all a
really?
fraud.
Yeah,
Yeah, you've
she's
never heard
canceled?
this theory.
This has to come up in the conspiracy theory.
It is a
section
conspiracy
later.
theory.
Yeah.
You go to Wikipedia and there's all kinds
Really?
of crazy stuff out there. And honestly, I don't even know. I'm a Reddit lurker. Like I spend a lot of time just lurking on the subreddits. And there's a subreddit that is just dedicated to outing Mother Teresa as a horrible human being and outing Helen Keller and her teacher as frauds.
Like scam artists.
There's a whole
Wow.
subgenre
Wow.
of people like,
I had never
and they
heard
are
that before.
dedicated to like hunting down her appearances, like picking apart her essays and even her artwork because she did art for a little while, and like saying like this is proof that she really could see, and here's this testimony from this one person who said, "Oh, I used to talk to Helen all the time. Like this is not she. This was
We used
always.
to go play darts together.
But what if it's like Daredevil? Like the dog got into some chemicals and like has all the other senses are heightened.
Yeah.
Border collies are super smart, though. Maybe it's just that I don't
Relative.
know.
How
It's
can
like-
it step around puddles?
I don't
How can it like sense a
The
puddle?
sound you can hear the reverberation off the water. It's like water,
How did they determine that the dog was blind?
and they know we have the
Yeah, how did they determine that the dog is blind?
it
And how did
doesn't
they
say-
determine that the dog...
Maybe they have like a smellless, like a scent-free sausage, and they hold it right in front of its eyes,
Uh-huh.
and it doesn't react.
Maybe.
I don't,
Can they
there's-
make scent-free sausages?
There's probably...
I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds...
Or they have to plug the nose up?
There's some... I don't know how you tell an animal is blind. I don't know. Obviously, there's a way to do it. That there are smarter people out there than us that
Or
do
do you
this
just,
stuff for a living. But
if you put duct tape over its eyes and then see if it still goes over the puddles?
oh yeah, maybe you could do that. Put blinders on and
Yeah.
see. Yeah, maybe there's that. I don't know. I find it interesting, but I am a little skeptical.
Yeah.
I think the dog is like
Anytime
trying to
people
get
say
away
like
from.
what they think an animal is thinking or they know what's in its brain.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
always skeptical.
Yes.
There's a lot of people that
Yeah.
claim to have that information.
That's one of those things like
Yeah.
crazy dog people like
Yes.
do. They think
I
they
know
know
that
if
my
they- oh,
dog-
my dog is thinking
Yeah,
this.
I know my dog is really sad right now, and all the dog is thinking about is like,
I know my dog is super
where should I
blind
poop?
right now.
Yeah.
Now will they give it like a smaller dog to lead it around?
Yeah.
Just get it like
Seeing eye
Yeah.
chihuahua.
yeah.
Oh my! But I do find it very strange. Did you guys write this descriptor, or did you pull it from the article?
Everything in
That-
there's from the articles for that last bullet point.
so a year into their relationship.
Yeah, that's from the article.
That's what a very odd way to describe a pet and
She
pet
named
owner.
it Dave.
I love that. I love naming pets people names. We foster dogs in my family, and my kids get so angry when I get like a foster dog or cat. I name it like Marge or Kevin.
Gary.
You know, they hate Gary. I had Betty and Barb, the two twin kittens, and my daughter was just so upset. You know, she wants like patches and
Yeah.
polka dots, and I'm like, nah,
I
it's
think
Betty
how many
and Marge.
kids get a pet that's black and they want to name it Blackie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My grandmother had like 3 cats named Blackie. Like the one would die, and she was just like, "It's Blackie too." And
Yeah.
then she had like about 8 that were patches. She had 8 patches. She would
Really?
get the next patches would look like the last patches, right? So like she could always pretend that the cat never died.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
like a psychological thing. Just,
Totally.
I never have
It
to
was
accept
weird.
death.
And each one got progressively more aggressive and strange. I think just because they were carrying the burden of being like a dead cat, that they just were not nice to be around after a while. It's like you're damaging these cats, Graham. Like just let it be.
My brother had a
Barb.
parakeet and he was trying to figure out what to name it. And I said, just call it Doctor and then find the first name you come to in the phone book. And so he did that. Flipped it. Phone books are these books that had all people's numbers in them.
Yeah.
names Back in the day. He flipped open and he goes, Doctor. And he goes, boom. And he found the name Wagon Blast. Dr. Wagon
No
Blast.
way.
Wow, I love it.
Nice.
Dr. Wagon Blast.
I can't wait to get my next foster animal so I can do that.
Yeah.
I don't have a phone book anymore. Are there phone books anymore?
I think they still hand them
We
around.
have one. Yeah, we
but
got
yeah, I don't know that anybody uses them anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, what do people put their kids on at the
They're
dinner
good to
table?
start fires with.
Yeah.
Who wants to take the next story? Want to go?
Sure, I'll do the next one. A drunk and disorderly Nicolas Cage was mistaken for a homeless man and thrown out of a Las Vegas bar. Actor Nicolas Cage
This is amazing.
was caught on camera a few weeks ago being kicked out of a bar in Las Vegas. It says Cage was initially mistaken for a homeless man, but later he was booted out after getting in an argument with the bar staff. Cage can be seen in a video wearing leopard print pajamas and trying desperately to put on his flip-flops before being kicked out of the bar.
Look, who hasn't been there? Who sitting at this table right now has not been in this situation? You know,
I don't have leopard print pajama pants.
did you see the video? Did you guys
Yeah,
see
yeah.
it? It's pretty like I would have thought he was a homeless person too.
Well, what I like about it, that sentence, again, this is from the article. It says he was initially mistaken for a homeless man, but later was thrown out of the bar after an argument. Which means when he was when they
Right.
thought he was a homeless man, they left him there,
Yeah.
and then they realized that's Nicolas Cage. We got to get rid of him.
Well, he started arguing. They were like,
Yeah,
"Sir, sir,
We've
you can't
seen-
be here in your pajama pants and flip flops."
We've seen how he
I
is.
mean, that's kind of what you go to Vegas to do, though. Just get drunk and get thrown out.
Right?
of
Why
bars.
can't you? I love it. Like
It's
I don't
going to
know.
happen somewhere.
I don't know anything about the bar that he was at, like if it was this classy establishment or something. But you know what? No one is above decency.
It was a valiant effort.
It was.
It's
We are
left-handed.
still trying to
Yeah.
get this fly. No one is above decency, not even the great Nicolas Cage himself.
True.
So,
You know,
you
have
had
you
to
seen
go.
Pig yet?
Yeah.
I didn't see it yet.
Pieces. I couldn't finish watching it. My husband rented it the other night.
It got like such amazing reviews,
I didn't.
and he hasn't had a movie with good reviews in like forever.
The portion I had to stop watching it. He rented it, and then I went back and tried to watch it myself, and I stopped halfway through it. I didn't get it. I was like, I guess it's a good Nicolas Cage performance because it's not like a super crazy Nicolas Cage performance.
That's disappointing.
Yeah. Here's my question. I ask this all the time, and I may have already asked you this before, but Adam, You're new to me.
Yes.
So, is Nicolas Cage the greatest actor in the world? Or is
No.
Nicolas Cage the greatest
done with
Nicolas
this
Cage
question.
in the world?
Well, definitely.
I think he's just the greatest Nicolas Cage in the world.
I agree. Like, why have we decided that this man is one of the best actors on the planet? I mean, I've seen one or two fantastic performances, but I feel like we've always been wanting him to recreate those one or two fantastic performances, and those were probably just lucky hits, right? Like he was playing a version of himself.
Yeah,
maybe.
But it is interesting that he can do like a good, like he has done good performances, but then he can also do these like crazy performances, and it makes you wonder, like, was he ever good, or was it just
like an accident?
It's like, yeah.
I find the question fascinating, and I can't ever get enough answers on it because every perspective is different. But Nicolas Cage, I do find to be a fascinating.
Well, Andy's one of those people. It's very interesting, like what he says yes to, like what projects he'll agree to.
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Seems like it's everything.
See, I didn't see that movie, but the most recent thing I watched with him was on Netflix. They did the history of swear words.
Oh, yeah,
and
I
it was
saw that.
hosted by
I
Nicolas
started
Cage.
watching it, yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like it just he decided to do that.
I don't know how to. I mean, I'm always for the Michael Caine
Yeah.
school of acting, which is actors act. If you get a job, you take the job. I love that Nicolas Cage is from a very affluent family.
Is he a method actor? Like, could he have been doing this as like research for a role?
Maybe.
Where he's like, I have to go put on leopard
No,
skin.
I don't think
pajamas
he
and
is a method
Go
actor.
get
But he
drunk
might have been
in
in
Las
the middle
Vegas.
of, yeah. I mean, he recently played a guy who, like a mushroom sniffing pig owner.
Is
so-
he the one who has like a weird like what do you call it, like tomb for himself, like set up in New Orleans where he's going to be buried or something?
Oh,
when he
this
dies?
I have not heard of.
It's like I think this is true.
How is
Dan,
this
do you
like
know
a
about
30-minute
this?
story?
Looky.
We still have more stories to get
passively
through.
aggressively
still have
telling
other-
us to
we
move
still have
on,
other-
you guys.
other stories.
Okay.
You're up, Kira.
All right.
Number 3.
You guys will be happy to hear this one. Oregon is giving people permission to kiss on dates if both are vaccinated. The Oregon Health Authority on Wednesday revised its position on safe dating practices. Oh, good. I've been waiting for this revision for about a year. So during the COVID-19 pandemic, and now it says it's okay to get intimate with your date as long as you've both been vaccinated. Oh, but here are some other dating tips, you guys, from the OHA. They are meeting your love interest outdoors and wearing a mask in crowded public spaces. If your date has potential coronavirus symptoms, the date should be postponed for 10 days. Wow. This is... I don't even know what to say
what
because it's like half of it
It's
is funny
so
and half of
weird.
it is truly, truly pathetic. Like... This is how infantile our government thinks we are, right? That you would need to actually release guidelines from the health organization telling you if the person you want to go meet is sick, maybe you shouldn't meet.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't need the health authority to tell me that, and I sure as heck didn't need the health authority to tell me that I could kiss people in Oregon. I mean, I've been married 22 years, and I've been kissing people in Oregon this whole time. Not even
Really?
marriage stopped me.
In Oregon?
Yep, in Oregon. I just go up there
You make
just
a lot
to
of
kiss
business
people.
trips up there?
Just to kiss people.
Vaccinated, or do you kiss the unvaccinated?
Unvaccinated.
Too? Oh my
I
gosh.
haven't been vaccinated
Oh my
this whole
gosh.
year. Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's
Why are you
nice
here?
that they gave me permission to do this. I mean, it's just so weird. I don't know how anybody, the Brits did this too, right? Where they were like, okay, you're free to have sexual relations again if you're both vaccinated and if you both stay in your bubble. So basically move in together. It is the strangest thing that anyone would A, take it seriously that your government tells you when you can kiss another human being, and B, not do everything in our power to ridicule at every moment these types of pronouncements. It is absolutely insane.
Absolutely.
Well, and it's such a weird charade how they keep going through this thing where they're like giving more health guidelines to the people who clearly don't care about these health guidelines.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of what side of the vaccine or unvaccinated, they're like, you can't kiss if you're unvaccinated. It's like those unvaccinated people are already not listening to anything that you've said for the last year and a half.
But
but they're like, oh, you shouldn't go to work, you shouldn't travel, you shouldn't gather in group. These people they have already not
Doing all
listened
of it.
to a single thing you have said. And they still, someone sits there and types out, we're going to tell them that they had, now you can kiss, but don't kiss. And it's like, none of these people are, like, who are you fooling?
Well, I have
It's like
friends
gun
who
control
do.
laws.
Yeah.
I have friends who do, like, and of course they're the vaccinated.
Yes.
They're the people who are. I have
And that's
friends
the
who are
people
like,
who get scared
oh, okay,
then.
we can date. Like,
Yes.
oh, I haven't dated in a year
Or
because
imagine
I
that couple
couldn't.
that hasn't been kissing this whole time.
Yes.
We finally get to do
kiss?
it. It's like
Oh my
it's like
gosh.
the young Christian couple that saves their first kiss for marriage.
Yeah.
Yes.
We save our first kiss for our vaccination date. We go to CVS, get that second shot. You may now kiss your
I'm
vaccinated
saving
partner.
sex for herd immunity. It's like-
Oh my gosh. Wow.
It's just ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. And I want to laugh, but then on the other hand, it makes me want to weep.
And
that
as
so many
they're-
people are okay with this.
And just as they're typing this out, not a single part of them thinks this is just silly. We don't have to.
Yeah, is there anybody?
We don't need to issue this guide. But it is crazy because you're right. It's the people who are following all the rules that who should already be exempt from this because they're theoretically vaccinated.
Yeah.
But
But
need
they're the
rules.
ones that they get scared by everything every time they come out with new rules.
Yeah.
And it's just it's always weird to me when I talk to people and you just find out they're like, oh well, this week I went out to a bar for the first time in a year, and I'm like,
What?
how? I've been I've traveled to multiple states and left the
I have
country. and,
never stopped
Yes.
moving.
Yeah.
I have the day we found out schools weren't going back last year. I have a 14-year-old daughter. I'll get in the car. We're going to Texas. We're going on a road
Yeah.
trip. We just drove around aimlessly for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
My mother was like, my Canadian mother who wants to lock down until eternity was like, you have no idea how many people you killed with that road trip. I was like,
Killed half of Texas.
Yeah.
sorry, Texas.
Haunted
Anyways.
house. Haunted house actor accidentally stabs boy in the foot with knife at Cuyahoga County Fairgrounds. I don't know how you say
Cuyahoga.
Cuyahoga. Now, they admitted to police that using a knife was not a good idea. A real knife.
Yeah.
Berea officers were called to the 7 Floors of Hell haunted house at the Cuyahoga County Fairgrounds at about 8:15 p.m. for a call of a male stabbed in the foot. An 11-year-old boy there with a family friend suffered a cut in his left big toe. So not a man. Witnesses told officers that one of the roaming outside actors at the haunted house was using a large Bowie knife. That's like the one on Crocodile Dundee. That's a knife.
Thoughts a knife.
As a prop to scare people. They said this 22-year-old actor, who is identified Christopher Pogoselski, was scraping the knife on the ground in front of them. Began to stab the ground at the boy's feet.
Oh my gosh.
It went through his Croc-style shoe. Do you deserve to be stabbed if you're wearing Croc-style shoes?
I feel it's a risk you take.
I like that it says Croc style.
Croc
He didn't
style.
get the real Croc.
No, because it was the Walmart croc.
Not the Walmart brand
Croc offs.
Croc.
Yeah.
That won't stop a Bowie knife.
No, now we know.
They have to make new Crocs that are Bowie proof.
Yeah.
He walked up to my son.
Is that how they talk in Cuyahoga
I don't know how they talk in Cuyahoga County.
He walked up to my son with a knife.
Where is Cuyahoga County?
Ohio.
In
I think.
Ohio?
Yeah.
I know Cuyahoga National Park is there.
I walked up to my son and he was holding a knife and his intentions were to scare him, but my son responded to him by saying, "That's fake. I'm not scared." But so I guess he took that as a challenge. He was like, "Oh, fake." The staff just kept saying, "Accidents happen. Accidents happen."
Yeah. Yeah.
He accidentally brought a real knife.
This is why Black people don't really like to go to haunted houses and stuff like that. I mean, my family does. We're into it, but we don't put haunted houses in the hood because I honestly, in the hood, somebody will get punched or stabbed or shot. There's no Black person in their right mind that's going to stand there and let the way some of these haunted houses work is going to let somebody scare them without and
Punching
a lot of us
somebody.
are armed a lot of the
They'll
time.
fight
That's
back.
a meme. That's a meme, right? Is the jump scare meme where a
and
guy
then the
pops
guy
out of a trash
punches
can.
him?
It's always the black guy that
so
punches
boom!
him
Yeah.
on instinct.
I've always wondered why there weren't more of these incidents in haunted houses, actually, and not. This is a case where the actor hurt the customer. I always think of the customer hurting the actors, right? Because you just react, and Black people don't. That's why they can't. It's really hard to make a Black horror movie because it goes against all. Again, my family, we're a different story, but generally speaking, it goes against all our sensibilities. We're not going to walk upstairs. We're going to run out the front door. But right after, like, I punch you really quick and then run, and I'm not going to run and trip. I will make sure that my feet are flying. But yeah, I have always wondered why more violence does not happen in haunted house situations. And it doesn't say here if the family is suing or...
Yeah, there's a really long story. There's a lot. Oh, they might be pressing charges. I think it's such a long story, I kind of just quit adding notes. It's going forever.
Yeah.
You can look it up.
Well, we're glad that it was just his foot.
Yeah.
And let that be a lesson. I mean, it seems incredible that this is a lesson that has to be learned, but you probably shouldn't use real weapons in a haunted house.
And wear a good closed-toe shoe when you're going to a
Yes,
haunted
definitely.
house.
Yeah.
Steel toe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
steel toe boots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite haunted house thing that happened when I was a kid, when I was probably like 10, 12, my little brother, who was like 3, he dropped a part of his costume along the way. So the guy dressed as Freddy Krueger came running up, and he goes, you dropped this. And he gave it to him. So from then on, because this was back in the days of video stores,
Yeah.
my little brother, whenever he was in the video store, he'd go up to the Freddy Krueger movies and go like, it's the nice guy. He wanted to watch the movie because he's like, that's the guy who helped me out. In his mind, Freddy Krueger's the nicest guy on earth.
Oh, that is
like that.
adorable.
Nice. All right. Should I do the next one? here?
Go for it.
The WWE introduced a super woke wrestler and had him lose within 5 minutes.
Nice.
The WWE took a jab at the woke left last week when it debuted a new up-and-coming pro wrestler who preached unity and declared he didn't need to use his male privilege to win. In his gimmick, progressive wrestler Joe Gacy told the Florida crowd that the ring is a safe place where differences are settled. His woke ideology was met with boos from the crowd, and he was pinned in less than 5 minutes. Gacy continued to express his message of love by hugging his victor after the match.
That's amazing. This is wonderful.
I love that. That's the first wrestling story I've ever enjoyed.
I have. So we were actually chatting about my friend actor Nick Searcy. Years ago, Nick wrote during the Tea Party years. He wrote a great article for Breitbart, which I still think about all the time. And it's how he was really talking about how Christians and conservatives should not be ignoring the culture, and how we look down our noses at things like WWE. Nick's a huge WWE fan. He's actually been on the show a couple of times, been in the ring. And he was talking about a Tea Party character, right? They had a Tea Party wrestler, and he came draped in an American flag, and then he turned out to be a big old racist, and he got beaten in the ring. And Nick was like, the people that are watching this show, that is probably the only representative they're going to see of a Tea Party person. Or so you might feel like, oh, that's ridiculous, but it's these cultural representations that for many people are the only perspective they're going to get on who you are. So you better get in on the entertainment culture.
Yeah.
You better start shaping some of these things, because how would it change if that Tea Party guy actually represented an actual, that actual mentality of like just.
Oh, yeah.
So anyways, I always think that's interesting. And the story reminded me of that.
I think that's absolutely true, yeah. Because the way Republicans and conservatives are treated, because the left controls so much of the media, it is like a caricature of what we really are. It's just like, I get if people don't, seek out their own source of information or actually talk to people with different points of view, they think we're just like these monsters, like these angry, crazy, racist, stupid people.
Yes.
It's like none of them are actually like that, yeah. But I do look down my nose at the WWE.
Yeah, it's a Chesterton thing. He talks about the penny dreadfuls, the cheap thriller novels and things that back in his day, and how everyone looks down on him. He kind of talks about looks down on the all kind of these hoity-toity novels they're really writing about what the elite of his time think society should be.
Yes.
And these penny dreadfuls, which WWE storylines would fit into that category, I think, are talking about what
society
is.
Yeah.
They're trying to understand what everybody actually wants and feed that.
Yeah.
It says there's more truth in that than there is in the whatever's written by the elite of the time. So that's an interesting thought. It's not always it's a good reflection, but the idea that it takes somebody at WWE to be smart enough to know, like, someone would love to see a super woke wrestler get pinned in 5 minutes.
That's really fun. I love the male privilege thing.
I
He
do
said he
too.
doesn't have to use his male privilege.
I
to
love
win.
it. And then he got pinned in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I love it.
I wonder if he got a participation trophy for it.
That would be hilarious.
Is it? Do we know? Is this a recurring character? Are they going to
Hopefully.
bring him back?
I'm sure, yeah, it's probably popular now. Libs, this must be from not the B or something. Libs are now saying minimum wage should not be just $15. It should be $26.
Why not?
Holy cow, they're raising it. That's crazy. I never would have thought. Leftists are arguing that $15 minimum wage is far too low. How was it like 2 years ago where they were saying 15?
We're not even at 15 yet in most
Yeah,
places.
we're almost to 15 in California.
Yeah.
Instead, many are calling for a $26 minimum wage. Holy cow. Like,
Indeed, yes.
I don't know how okay. Because I get paid my babysitter around this amount. That's crazy. Today seems like a good time to remind you, wrote lefty Robert Reich, that if wages had kept pace with productivity gains over the last 50 years, the minimum wage would be $24 an hour. $15 is the floor, not the ceiling of what working people deserve. Reich is just one of the many left-wingers calling for a higher minimum wage than the $15 that we were promised.
I've never seen anybody who's so bad at his job as Robert Reich. Like, he is absolutely, I have a degree in theater. And I host a podcast. And I feel like I could talk Robert Reich under the table on economics. And he's like a highly educated human being.
He could stand up straight under a table. He's really short.
Ethan.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
This is so insane. This is why I do my podcast. I'll take the chance to mention this. Just listen to yourself with Kira Davis, because this is exactly why. Because people put out these platitudes, right? And and it sounds great. Why wouldn't you want a single parent who's trying to raise 3 kids to make $26 an hour? How can you say no to that? But you got to dig in underneath to what that $26 an hour means.
Yeah.
Right.
I tell this a funny story. I took my 19-year-old son to the dentist a few months ago to have his wisdom teeth pulled out. So he was drugged up. And I promise that this is true. Okay. I don't know where, but we're on the way home, and he's sort of coming out of his haze, and he's saying silly things. And I wish I could have recorded him, but I was driving. And he says, "Mom, how do they know, like, how much medicine to give you so that you're coming out of the haze, like, right as they're done? Like, how do they know that? That's so crazy. Like, they just timed it perfectly." And then it was, and I'm like, "Well, honey, people go to school for years to learn how much medicine to administer for anesthesia. You know, anesthesiologist is like highly specialized. It's all based on your weight, what you had to eat, your height, everything. It's a highly specialized discipline." And he was like, "That's amazing." It's like, see, I don't get it why people think that everyone's supposed to be making the same. You should not be making the same amount of money flipping a burger as giving someone medicine. And I was like, "You're very right, son. You're high, but you're right." But even my totally intoxicated son understood the concept.
Your drugged up child understood economics better than Robert
Reich.
But it's so easy to get people to vote for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody.
Well, that's like a
loves
lot of leftist ideas. They sound nice.
Yeah.
It's just instantly, it sounds like, well, wouldn't it be nice, and wouldn't this instantly help, without thinking of any of the long-term consequences or what it does to the whole system. Yeah.
That's why I do my podcast. That's why I'm a conservative now and not a liberal anymore. Because it was when I had the opportunity to work with the policies that I always thought worked, that sounded nice, and then I got to see how they worked up close, and I realized, oh, they don't. That was the light bulb moment for me. It sounds really great, and everybody will applaud you to say $26 an hour. No one's going to applaud you for, like, well, what happens to the cost of that hamburger?
Right.
What happens to the cost of that lady's gas to get to the $26 an hour job? What happens to the wages of the people above her? And how much more you're going to have to pay them? It's just Robert Reich.
Just shifts
Listen
everything.
to yourself.
You want to get into this last one for us, Kira?
Another Oregon story. A lot going on up there. Oregon dog's 12-inch ears earn a Guinness World Record. An Oregon woman's black and tan coonhound earned the Guinness World Record for longest ears on a living dog. When I don't know,
They keep growing after death.
dead dog.
You can just stretch them out and they die.
Okay. Well, Dan, can you look up what the longest ears on a dead dog are? When each of her ears was measured at 12.38 inches long.
Over a foot.
Olson said she always knew Lou's ears were extravagantly long. But she only decided to measure them while sheltering in place during the COVID-19 pandemic. I wonder,
not kissing anyone.
Yeah, I was just about to say. I wonder if she got the memo that she can go out and kiss people again.
It was probably on the list. It was like suggested activities from the OHA. You may measure your dog's ear length and submit it to the Guinness.
That was
Book of World
only
Records.
after we determined that dogs could not transmit COVID. Remember, for a while there, we weren't sure.
You're worried.
Yeah.
You weren't supposed to take your dog to the dog park.
So it's a coonhound. I thought it was going to be a basset hound. Is that similar though? It looks similar.
It looks similar. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know the difference.
Yeah.
I'm not getting anything on dead dog.
Nothing on dead dog.
Oh, well.
There's a lot of just delightful little lines in this story. The longest ears on a living dog. They were extravagantly long.
Extravagant.
And she only decided to measure them because of the COVID pandemic.
While sheltering in place in the COVID pandemic. Meanwhile, I'm on my third Texas city.
Yeah.
Every line, because I'm in the story, she really likes this dog. So these are quotes from this woman.
Their relationship has gone on for a while.
All black and tan coonhounds have beautiful long ears. Some are just longer than others, so beautiful. She was really into the ears. And then she said, of course, everyone wants to touch the ears. They're very easy to fall in love with.
Getting uncomfortable.
Just one sighting. So she struggles with
You know what? I'm
ear
feeling
lust.
hashtag me too right now. Can we move on?
Well, look at the dog's face. He looks a little...
Oh, yeah. Well, those are, I've seen those dogs. They do have impressive ears.
He does not look entertained by this.
I wonder if the dog had a stroller.
Okay, here we go. We're showing the ears off again. Okay, now this is going to be kind of similar to the last segment we are doing with Adam Yenzer. Real or fake?
Ooh.
Yeah, so there's
Take
a
the
lot
lead,
of
Adam.
There's a lot of talk about fake news these days. Everybody's, they try to label misinformation on Facebook. People fall for like hoaxes and fake narratives all the time. Sometimes even the Bee gets accused of being fake news. And they are fake news, but they're the fake news that you can trust. But I want to see how good you guys are at picking out real news and fake news.
Wait. I'm going to tell you.
Yes.
I'm editor-at-large for redstate.com.
Yes.
We cover... Did you get it?
I feel like you're going to hit me before you get this
I
far.
know. See, the problem is that we've got these mics here,
Yes.
we've got laptops, and this fly is crafty.
I get fly lust, death lust, blood lust.
It
They have
is
blood?
like...
Flies have blood? I don't know.
It feels vindictive
they
at
do.
this point with this fly. Anyways, I want to
Red
say,
State?
so we cover a lot of fake news. So I'm going to say, I feel really
You feel
confident
confident about
that
this?
I can tell the
okay.
difference.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Are
All
we
right.
scoring?
So, Dan, can you keep
Keep
score?
score.
for us?
I'm feeling very confident. Okay.
All
also
right,
gotta switch
I can
cameras.
try. Let me
All
see.
right,
I
let's
can
warm
try.
up
should-
my
yeah, you could-
skills.
Let me see if I can.
You can type right in the doc. You know.
Well, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna read a headline, and Ethan and Kira, you have to guess whether it's a real news headline or one that I made up.
We have-
Okay.
All right.
We got to be quick too. We can't
So-
just like sit there forever trying to guess.
Okay.
All right. So we got to be
Instinct.
first
The
instinct.
subtext is Ethan is bored with this segment.
No, no.
All right, here's the first one. For the first time ever, Katmai National Park's annual Fattest Bear contest has ended in a tie.
I'm going with true.
Fake.
Kira's correct. That
Oh.
one is fake.
It's weird because I keep up on bear news too, but I get sent so much. That they all sound the same.
Well, it's overwhelming. Yeah.
A Danish artist was paid $84,000 to create 2 artworks for a museum, so he returned blank canvases and called it Take the Money and Run.
True.
True, I saw it.
Yeah. Well, we reported on this at Red State. Yeah.
All right, so you both get a point for that one.
My point should be worth more.
Well, you're ahead.
Are you demanding
Let's not get
reparations?
greedy.
Yes, well, I get paid less, is 0.74
Right.
to Ethan's dollar, so.
Oh, plus that, yeah. Monogamous.
One of the flights bringing refugees to the U.S. from Afghanistan may have inadvertently brought with it an invasive species of fruit slug.
I'm going with fake just because we've already got so many truths.
I'm going to say it's true.
That one is fake.
Oh.
It's all tied up now.
Okay.
I like how each fake one is a look into Adam Yenzer's mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm learning a lot about Adam.
Some people are seriously suggesting that the U.S. could avoid defaulting on its debts by issuing a one-time commemorative coin worth $1 trillion.
True. Didn't Biden suggest this, I thought?
Fake.
I thought that was like the idea. They could put Biden on there.
That's true.
Oh, man. You're a journalist.
That one I thought you would know. That one's gotten a little. That one's been
Calm down.
gotten pick up a few places. All right. Eminem is opening a restaurant in Detroit called Mom's Spaghetti.
True.
You said it so confidently. I'll go with fake just in case.
That one is true.
Yeah.
Wow.
Allegedly, they're running commercials for it. I still suspect it's some sort
might
of
be
like
some kind of
publicity
troll,
stunt
yeah.
or something.
But
But
he's
it is,
doing those
It
fake,
is
like-
getting like coverage.
Yeah,
that
he's doing
he
like
really
those
is
fake
promoting
public
it.
access
Yeah.
type commercials. It's kind of funny, yeah.
A pair of Michael Jordan's old underwear that shows definite signs of use sold at auction for over $2,000.
True.
True, I saw that, but I didn't catch that it had definite
That
signs
was part.
of use.
That was part of the article.
Definite
That-
signs.
It
of
doesn't
use.
say what those signs of use are, but yeah.
The more definite signs, probably the higher value, I'd assume.
Well, maybe.
And then at a certain point, no value.
A researcher in Canada found that rhesus monkeys prefer watching Fox News to CNN.
I'm going to say fake.
I don't know if Canada would admit that. Yeah, I'll go fake.
That one is fake.
All right.
But I
You guys
did
both got that
hesitate.
one.
Yeah, I did think about it.
Yeah. A Romanian man who was the arm wrestling champion of the world had his title revoked after testing positive for 5-hour energy, which is banned in the tournament.
Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to say it's true.
I'm going fake.
That is fake.
Oh!
That sounded too close to an Adam Yenzer joke.
A hamster in Germany with a cryptocurrency account has been beating many investors by randomly choosing what purchases to make by spinning his wheel.
I think I heard this is true.
I'm going to say true.
That one is true.
Yeah.
It shows you how much
Crypto
how much
hamster.
it takes to invest in crypto.
That's basically my crypto strategy.
Yeah. Police in Wisconsin are searching for a stolen statue of Humpty Dumpty sitting on the toilet.
It's Wisconsin. I'm going to say true.
True.
I saw it. I was waiting to see if she'd say fake because I knew it was true.
McDonald's revealed in a tweet that the character Grimace was originally supposed to be a piece of bread mold.
Fake.
It's like bad marketing for a place that serves buns.
Yeah.
I'm going fake.
That is fake. They revealed that he was originally supposed to be a taste bud.
Oh, gross.
Yo, that's almost worse.
disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh, my heavens. I wish I'd never heard
He's a
that.
human kidney.
Yeah.
He's actually a piece of
Grossest
phlegm.
thing, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a
It's also,
testicle.
I saw this somewhere before, but it's weird that they made him a taste bud and his name is Grimace. And
Yeah.
it's like McDonald's. That's the face you make when you taste McDonald's food or something.
What are Fry Guys, I want to know now. They look like COVID.
Yeah. No, they're supposed to be bread mold.
Oh, okay.
Inflation is forcing the Dollar Tree to sell items for over $1.
True.
I'm guessing that's true because I think I've been in there.
Yes,
that is
I'm a
true.
huge dollar store fan, and often over the years have wondered when the dollar store brand was going to be beaten by inflation, and here we are.
It now
it's
costs
happening.
A tree of dollars.
What they'll do is they'll say to get around it. What they do is they say most items $1.
Yeah, or they spin it like it's a
Yeah.
$1 bill.
Finally, a local Democrat representative in a Northern California town who was caught breaking mask rules blamed her behavior on Mercury in retrograde.
What does that even mean?
They say that like when people who believe in that stuff believe like when Mercury is in retrograde, like things go
makes you
crazy
go
and
loopy.
people start behaving weird and
Oh,
stuff.
so she blamed that for
I don't really know, but I'm going to say it's true just because it sounds like something a Democrat would
Sure.
say.
Oh, well, true.
It sounds like something a Democrat would say, and that's why I made it up.
Adam, you got me.
That
You
one is
got
false.
me.
Let's see here. 1.
Italian.
Kira has 8. And let's see, Ethan. You have 9.
Oh my gosh.
Ethan edged it out by 1.
Just
Wow. I
Yes.
can't believe I beat
this was rigged.
Yeah.
I beat
This was rigged.
the Red State editor at large.
I want a recount. I want an audit.
But I mean, it's a little hard because some of them you said you heard of before, which I
Oh,
mean,
yeah, I
I
learned
guess
a lot of
you
them
can't
that-
really,
And
ban
there
that,
was
but
one
it
or
is
two
like-
that he was like, "Well, I know
And
Adam's sense of humor. See, I just met Adam today."
And I feel like there's 1 or 2 where he listened
Plus,
to
I'm a-
what you said first, and if you said
Thank
it
you. That's
confidently,
right.
then
Then
he
he
would
was
be like,
like,
"Oh,
okay,
that's
yeah,
probably
that's it."
true."
I'm also a white male, so I have that advantage.
You did use your male privilege to win.
Yeah. What's Ethan's WWE character?
And notice who's judging the results.
Yeah.
Look, you guys, do you see what I'm up against here? This thing was rigged.
I did.
I want another chance. Next time I come back, I want another chance.
I did tally it.
Would you like him to make a separate test for you next time?
Yes. And I start with 2 in the win column already from the top.
There.
Yeah.
I did tally it in my Dominion voting app on here. So.
Okay. All right. Well, the fly is still alive, but we press on.
Damn.
When you scroll Facebook and you count on Facebook to give you the content that you want to read, it's like you're going up to Mark Zuckerberg every morning, knocking on his door and saying, "Hey, Mark Zuckerberg, what should I read this morning?" Or you could just support the Babylon Bee. BabylonBee.com/plans. You can subscribe. You get full-length podcasts, ad-free podcasts. You get ad-free web browsing on our site, premium content. At certain levels, you even get access to a little social network that our friends at Not the Bee have created.
Yeah, be part of the community, the in crowd, the bee crowd. Now, we were going to talk about all this mandate craziness. I mean, we got, some people are people overreacting? Yes. On both sides? Yeah. Are mandates replacing race? This is something that Kira was talking about. Is it kind of like the new thing that we're using instead of race? Because I haven't heard a lot about race lately. It's like the new reason to hate everybody.
Yeah, I feel like when I started my podcast, I started it because I was feeling really frustrated with the way that Americans were talking to each other about race. I mean, some of your listeners might remember when my first appearance on the Bee, we talked a lot about those issues. We kind of got, pretty deep with those. And I was always feeling sad. Yes, it's fine. That's what I want to talk about. And I was always feeling sad, like, how can we treat each other like this? There's so many nuances to a person's character, their life. How can you judge a person's whole life based on what you think you're supposed to believe about somebody based on a chyron on CNN or something? And it seemed like if we could find a way to communicate with each other, give each other some grace and some space to say weird things, that we could get past this. And now with the vaccine mandate stuff, where I'm opening Twitter or I'm reading this article or that, and I'm seeing people going, well, look, if you don't get the vaccine, then you shouldn't have any access to any health care at all. You die. Nobody cares about you. And that was how we were breaking down election season, right? If you vote for Trump, you die. Like you shouldn't have access to police services. You shouldn't have access. Like you've done everything wrong in your life. I think what I've realized with this vaccine mandate stuff, and I know there's a lot of you out there who have gotten there to this conclusion before me, is that at the end of the day, it's not about race. It's not about vaccines. It's not about gender division. It's about hatefulness and it's about sinfulness. And we're never going to get to this is why I always say racism can't be solved. We can work towards solutions, and we should. Not that we should be happy with it or satisfied with the status quo. But racism is just sin, and so there's only one cure for sin. And it's the same way. I think that we're just always going to gravitate as humans towards bondage, whatever that bondage is. If it's the bondage of judgments against each other, if it's the bondage of racism, of being a racist and therefore handcuffing yourself that way, or if it's the bondage of letting the government decide for you when you're allowed to kiss somebody, when you're allowed to travel around your state, when you're allowed to have a party with your friends. I mean, I just think at the end of the day that this is a sign that human beings are predisposed to a base nature, to a lower nature. And if it's not this, it's going to be something else.
And we're always ready to take our guilt, and it's easier to be guilty on behalf of a group or to blame. Have some other group that you got to blame for all the big problems. Yeah, my problems are tiny compared to all these jerks, and that seems to be now it's the vaccinated, and it feels like how could there not be some rational questions with an unprecedented vaccine developed so fast? Yeah, I know plenty of medical professionals that are not comfortable with it. Like most of the people I know who are uncomfortable with it are medical professionals, including my wife, who still reluctantly took it and was in the ER after she took it. Yeah. And I know a guy who's an OBGYN. He's refusing to take it. My wife, in her small circle of other nurses, knows 10 other RNs that are refusing and will lose their job over this. So it's like these aren't irrational hillbillies that are like sitting out conspiracy theorists.
Yeah,
you know?
and they're not people that like deny science or don't
Right.
listen to the doctors. Some of them, they work in that industry. I know 2 nurses personally who one of them eventually got it, one of them hasn't, but they were very nervous about it. And now they're saying there's a lot of hospitals and healthcare facilities that are worried about losing staff because of the mandates, because they have lots of staff that are still, reluctant about getting it. And it's just such a weird thing to want to force on people.
Yeah, up north in San Francisco area, the police force are, they're working hard to recruit new people because they've lost so many officers. A lot of them just feel like, well, I've already had COVID, so I already have the antibodies. Why am I going to take? It's like all of the risk of the vaccine with none of the upside of it. I might as well not take it. But again, I do believe that all our whole summer OBLM, where we were just hating each other over race and over Trump and over all of that, it's just morphed to this. The people who say, oh, the vaccines have become political, it's those people who have made it political, right? They're the same people who told us when Trump was still the president that they would never take a vaccine that was developed under Donald Trump.
Yep.
And then they want us to memory hole that and turn around and say, well, if you have any questions, you're a complete moron and you don't even have the right to be treated with dignity in this society because you don't want to put a certain thing in your body.
Yeah.
It's just absolute insanity, but that's because it doesn't have anything to do with science. You'll notice that a lot of these people are like the intellectual set. So it's not your wife, right, who is like a very intelligent woman and an educated woman. It's the academic set who think that they're smarter than her because she's just a nurse and they're on TV or they're a Harvard educated economist, and they think that they have some sort of superior knowledge that the rest of us don't have, and they don't live in the real world. So they think they have it figured out. They think that the people who don't want to take the vaccines are MAGA red hat racists because we already knew that those people were awful. We always knew they were horrible. So naturally, these are the people that are keeping our society locked down because we can't get to 100% vaccines, which is like you've always had the right to move around. You could have been doing it this whole time.
There was nothing.
But there's literally nothing stopping you. But yeah, and now they've just morphed that hatred when in reality, if you're on the ground and you're willing to talk to people who aren't like you and don't live where you live and don't look like you look, you're realizing it's a lot of Black people. It's a lot of Hispanic. Blacks and Hispanics make up the majority of the vaccine hesitant right now. The majority of my Black family is not vaccinated. Not mine, my immediate family, but my extended family. Absolutely. And these are people who hate Donald Trump. So they're not MAGA hat rednecks. They're Black people who are like, well, excuse me for not really trusting the government. And it's just, I think we are predisposed to this nonsense, and it's only going to get worse unless those of us who are on the side of common sense can get brave enough to stand up and say, I'm just not going to let you label me that.
Yeah.
Well, and we're tribal by nature, and we saw it it was a huge thing on Twitter and Facebook to have a special avatar that showed that you were a virtuous person. You had the black one, you had the rainbow one. And then I saw it as when the masks started happening, the mask became, suddenly that had seeped into the real world. And now it was like the black square on your face or whatever. Like, I am the virtuous one and you are not. And now it seems like we're getting into it being the vaccine card. And the scary thing about that is the government mandating it. Imagine those avatars being mandated by the government.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the next question. Say the vaccine is perfectly safe, it's flawless. Is it still okay for the government to mandate it the way that they're talking about doing, to have these passports?
And that's one of the big problems I have with it. That's why I can't understand people on the other side who I think you can totally believe
excited
that the vaccine is safe, that most of the research says, maybe there's, odd, side effects like all medications have here and there. You can believe that it's a good thing and everyone should get it. But you should still be able to draw this rational line, and this line just in terms of our individual rights and our liberties, that this is not a power we should give the government.
Right.
The government should not be able to force you to inject something, even if you think someone's stupid for not wanting it, or even if you think, they're wrong for it. We should draw this line of, no, we don't want a government that has that kind of power over us.
Always the tension, right? If you don't have your freedoms in an emergency, do you really have your freedoms?
Absolutely.
And there are more people out there, and I think you can even read your Bible and find these people there. There are more people out there who prefer the safety of bondage than the risk of freedom. And like I have this argument with my socialist mother all the time. She lives up in Canada. She lives on an island where they've had exactly 2 cases.
Yeah.
But every time somebody even gets close to like suggesting a case has made its way to the island, it's like, we've got to lock down everybody. Everyone's got to stay home. She's the person that's like shouting at you from across the street if you're not wearing your mask, kind of thing. And there are people who really truly believe that, no, you do have to make some sacrifices of your freedom for the greater good. But the thing is that never stops. Freedom is very inconvenient. And my podcast this week is on a national divorce. Do we need a national divorce? And I kind of break down the talking points on that, and like get to the practicality of what that would look like. But one of the things I say is, we have this idea that America is supposed to be unified in some way. We're supposed to reach this magical time when we're all going to be on the same page. But America is not based on unity. America is based on freedom.
Right.
You know, freedom is actually kind of the very opposite of unity. It means you go your way, I go mine, and we respect the boundaries that each other, have for ourselves, that we've made for ourselves. But there are just too many people in this country.
And it's sad, but it's becoming more and more apparent through all the political turmoil of the last 2 years especially, but even the last decade and longer, that it's becoming more and more apparent that there are people who just simply never believed in that idea. These things that I thought united us as Americans. Like, if you can just give up freedom of speech and say, I support, tech censorship, or I support forced use of certain pronouns, or I support safe spaces for speech, then you never believed in the value of free speech in the first place. If you believe that the government, like the Constitution doesn't say, you have the right to peaceably assemble unless there's a virus.
Right.
If you think in an emergency you can take those things away, then, you simply never believed in that in the first place. If you believe, like a Twitter mob can destroy someone's life and that someone should be treated as guilty of a crime because someone accused them, you never believed in the right to a fair trial in the first place. You believe they should be punished because someone else said they did something wrong. If you can, get yourself to a point like so many of these people have where they say, I don't mind restricting this or infringing this right, you simply, and it's sad, but it shows how divided the country is, that it's hard to see a world where we reconcile with those people because they simply don't believe in these rights and liberties that I thought were what united everyone, and say, we're not going to cross that line, or we're not going to go there.
And can you imagine? This is the thing that shocks me or just baffles me about people that are so on board with the government making mandates about this kind of stuff. Number one, we were just talking this morning, will it go away? The COVID's not going away at this point. We're a year and a half in, and the idea that it's going to end. It's not going to end.
Yeah.
So let's just accept that.
People are going to get it. People are going to get it sometimes. It's going to be bad for some people.
And now they're going to have a gatekeeping mechanism into every aspect of our lives. Will they give that up? Has the government ever gotten that kind of power and given it up?
No. Look, we still have the Patriot Act. I remember when the Patriot Act was given to us, and they were like, this is temporary. And now we're not even in Afghanistan anymore, and we still have the Patriot Act. So no, of course they're never going to give up the power.
We have Make America Great Again terrorists now, so we have to watch out.
Well, and
see, there's always something. And here's the other thing about what we're doing. We're making people responsible for getting sick. We're victim shaming people for contracting a virus that you cannot see and cannot possibly track. How have we gotten to this place where the mere act of you leaving your mask at home is a certain death sentence? But if you go on Twitter, people will be like, oh, look at that guy, he got sick. He wasn't wearing. I saw a picture with him not wearing his mask. Look, if masks were the cure-all, why are we even arguing over vaccines? Everyone wear your mask. Boom, done. No, it's ridiculous. But we've allowed ourselves to get to this place where we feel comfortable with blaming you, Adam, just for walking around.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you if you get sick, where you picked up a virus.
Yeah.
I can assume maybe you were in a classroom full of snotty kids and it probably came from there, but it could have literally just come from the lady you were talking to at the grocery store, or it was lurking in your house and you just picked up something. And this idea that we are blaming people for a virus, we're not talking about something like AIDS where you could abstain from sex. You could have safe sex. Like there are ways to protect yourself from AIDS, right?
Yeah.
We're not even talking about that. And they would never think of shaming AIDS victims the way they shame the unvaccinated. And we're talking about a virus that we are not responsible for it. We didn't bring it to the shores of this country.
Yeah.
We didn't ask for it. And we haven't done anything wrong.
Wow, preach.
Yeah.
I was just so upset.
Did you get the fly?
I wish. No. This fly is
The
like...
fly is what listening like, yeah.
The fly's a liberal.
Flies do?
I think that fly's a liberal.
Government Hochul, how you say it? I don't know how you say Hochul from New York. She's the one that took over for Cuomo.
Oh, what happened to him?
I guess he's retired. I don't know. He started his own large gauge nipple ring business. She said, "We are not through this pandemic." She was at a church, a non-denominational megachurch. "I wished we were, but I prayed a lot to God during this time. And you know what? God did answer our prayers. He made the smartest men and women, the scientists, the doctors, the researchers. He made them come up with a vaccine. That is from God to us. And we must say, thank you, God, thank you." She then showed off her necklace that indicated her vaccination status. Oh, that's just like the Twitter avatar. And then alleging that those who refuse the COVID-19 vaccine aren't listening to God and what God wants. And then she said, "I need you to be my apostles. I need you to go out and talk about it and say, we owe this to each other. We love each other. Jesus taught us to love one another. And how do you show that love but to care about each other and to say, please get the vaccine because I love you and I want you to live. I want our kids to be safe when they're in school. I want you to be safe when you go to a doctor's office or a hospital and are treated by somebody. You don't want to get the virus from them. You're already sick or you wouldn't be there."
Two things about this. One is that, again, how have we gotten to this place now where, like, to not get the vaccine is certain death, right? I mean,
And
you
it's
still
sin.
have
the wages of non-vaccine.
you have a 99.7% chance of surviving COVID if you contract it without the vaccine. So somehow we've allowed ourselves to get to this place where not having it equals certain death. But the other thing is that I was reading this going, Kathy Hochul has never set foot in a church. She has never talked to a Christian human being in her life because this is like a caricature.
It is.
The way she's talking is like, I imagine this is how Christians talk.
It is.
Like,
It's
we
like
all
lines
love
in
each
a
other.
sketch.
yes,
Like,
other than a sketch.
yeah.
I get a lot of at Red State in the comments section. You're always going to find one or two people who are saying the most racist, horrible things. And you always know they're a troll because they're talking the way they think right-wing Christians talk on websites, right? Not how we do talk. They're saying every platitude, everything that they imagine. They're trolling for likes so that they can go, "Oh, see, look." But most of the people are like, "You make no sense, dude. What are you?" That's how I was listening to her. And that's what I was thinking. I'm like, this is a woman who has a caricature of a Christian in her mind, who's probably never set foot in a church, never talked to evangelical Christian or Christian at all, and has this idea that if you just put the word Jesus in front of anything, that we immediately lose every, like, grain of common sense and education that we have.
It's the equivalent of a parent being like, Paw Patrol cares about people, the characters on that show. So wouldn't you want to do what the guys on Paw Patrol would do? Like it's the same thing of thinking that's going to work.
It is.
On to get my kid to stop biting each other.
This is what
biting other
socialists
kids.
do.
Yeah. They see themselves as the kindergarten teachers of the world.
Yes.
And the fact that they'll even go into a church and use language like this, it says it's a non-denominational mega church. So I don't know what exactly
church, you imagine the opposite.
But the fact whether she believes this herself or is just saying it to try to persuade this audience, when they use this language like the vaccine is from God and we need this and I need you to be my apostles, like the left as they've like abandoned religion in this country, their political beliefs really are becoming their religion. They have the same way like Christians or even devout Jews or devout Muslims have this meaning in their life because they have this higher belief that they aspire to. For these people who are raised in a secular world, and even if they are like secular Christians or secular Jews who identify that way but don't have this religious faith, all of these political causes become their like moral cause in life.
Yep.
Right.
And they really do like intertwine this religious devotion to these political causes that they have. And that's like the same devotion that a Christian feels towards God. They do start to feel this towards their like political party.
Yeah. I
And
know.
then the
you're
highest
right.
wisdom that you can seek is from the scriptures, but for these people, the highest wisdom is whatever the current experts are saying.
Yeah. And that's the
They
and
feel
that's
like
the
they've got
arbiter.
they've got the
And that's the,
revelation.
literally for them the arbiter of morality and good and evil. It's like
Yes.
if you're good, you'll be on our side on this, and if you
Yes.
don't, you're evil. You're bad.
And to them, that's so obvious. Like, why would you follow some dumb old
Yeah.
book?
Yep.
Right. But it's like
Right.
having that base that you always go back to keep you in check from the old. I quote Chesterton so much. When he says,
It's worthy of it. Yeah.
a dead thing goes downstream, only a living thing can swim against it.
It's true.
To have that basis to go back to the wisdom that the Bible was written over what, like some like create like 7 or 8, 9,000 years.
Like 10 million
It's
years ago,
insane.
something like that.
But I
yeah.
mean, like the amount from page 1
Yeah.
to the last page. If you
Yeah.
imagine a book today, if it just came out, it was the Bible. It'd be like somewhere in Athens. It started being written, and we just finished it today. Like that's how much
Oh, yeah, how much
wisdom
time it
is in those
spans,
pages
yeah.
that has lasted through that test of time. I mean, that's a thing. If you believe wisdom is a real thing that exists and is timeless, then there's nothing more precious than Scripture.
And that's why I'm not going to build my beliefs, my morality, or anything like that on the shifting sands of academia. I mean, when I went to college in the 90s, that is a completely different experience than what my son is having right now at college this year in Chicago. We have the information has changed, what they feel is acceptable. We were on a parent call the other day and we all had to introduce ourselves by our pronouns, and I try to tell my son, you can be as woke as you want. In 20 years, you're going to be me, right? In 20 years, your kids are going to look at you and go, oh my gosh, Dad, you don't even get it. You don't even know what, because our idea of what is right, what is knowledge, what is real, those things shift in the wind. They shift with how we feel. It's all based on how we feel. That's why Scripture is so important, because God never changes. Scripture never changes. I can measure everything against the true and unshifting, reality of who God is and what He says is real. And then that gives you license to not live your life in fear.
Yeah.
Also, right? Like I can travel around. I don't have to listen to the God of government to tell me what's safe. Well, you know what's the most dangerous thing of all is to be living outside of God's will. So if God's got you traveling all over, you got to do it. COVID be
Turnip.
And it's like that other Chesterton quote: "A living dog can be in the Guinness Book of World Records for long ears, but a dead dog cannot."
just a little quoted. People don't quote that one a lot, but it's a good one.
Oh, well, we could go on about that one forever, but we got hate mail to read.
Oh, good.
Good.
I really miss Adam Ford.
This is from, I don't have his name here. Your headlines aren't even funny.
No,
And not
it's
for
an
a lack
original
of,
one.
and not for a lack of reasons to make fun of us over here on the left. Your problem isn't material, it's talent. Give up.
What if we just stopped and you just
Yeah,
ended
yeah,
the babble?
Like, you know what?
You're like,
He's right.
he's got a point.
And with that,
All right.
good night, everybody.
I never thought of it that way before.
Yeah, I never
But-
thought of it. And
Shut
it's
the
always
windows.
people who have nothing going on in their
it
lives,
down.
right? Like you don't have one of the most popular blogs in the country. You're writing this from your couch or on your
Right.
lunch break from your 9 to 5. But I love it how they're always like,
And this is like,
a
he's on the
failure.
left. So he's like, you just tell the chicken crossing the road joke, and then he's the chicken walking up to you. Jokes about chickens, I don't see any humor in them. Like, you're the joke. I don't know if you
yeah.
did that. You can't see it. You're inside of it, so you don't see it. All right. Hey, I think we just did a whole show.
oh,
Awesome.
great.
We got a subscriber lounge coming up. For all you luckies. And if you're on
guys
YouTube and you
wanna-
want to join us you click that little join button, $5 a month. You get all the extra stuff. We got outtake videos. We got longer podcasts. We got a bunch of questions for Kara we're gonna go through. Subscriber headlines, bonus hate mail, and yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Don't let me go without letting me plug all my
Plug all you want.
stuff.
Both of you guys, plug away.
Okay. Doesn't matter what Adam's about to plug. It's not going to be as special as mine. Just know that. Mine is, we literally just met today. I'm sure he's excited
cool.
about this, our new friendship. I can be found on Just Listen to Yourself with Kira Davis, which is available wherever you find your podcast. And you'll hear me breaking down talking points like I did today. Also, you can subscribe to, if you would like more access, personal access, where you can get kind of more raw Kira. You can get that on my locals page, davisnation.locals.com, where we tend to be, a little more vocal on that, a little more honest. I mean, I don't know if it amounts to a hill of beans or not, but that's where you can find me.
It's right there on the stand. Fast. Oh, you gotta hit just a little
I
bit
didn't
above
want
it.
to like break the. This is the thing. The fly knows we have expensive equipment in here.
My late father taught me that when a fly takes off, it jumps either off to the left or to the right, and then it goes.
Is this true?
Yeah, but if you bring two things towards it at once, it doesn't know which way to go. So it freezes up, and then right at the last second, it jumps backwards. And
No
goes up.
way.
So you bring two hands in slowly, and then you slap right behind it.
Dang.
But that's why it keeps landing on these arms here.
You guys, look at what you get for your bang for your buck. Not only just
It's
this
hilarious.
amazing commentary.
This is what they do. You know, they sit there and they go like, like that's what they do the whole time. And then the moment that two fingers are coming out, they just go like this.
Oh my gosh.
They just stop moving because they don't know what to do.
Okay, now I can't wait to go catch a fly at home. And I was
Check this
done.
Now
I
you're
was done
plugged.
plugging myself. Just listen to yourself and davisnation.locals.com. My name is Kira Davis. Fine. Google me. I'm out there, but
Totally
I am
Googleable.
not Kira Davis, the anime voiceover artist, or
Okay.
Kira Davis, the Hollywood producer that works with Hugh Jackman.
Okay.
You can check out my YouTube page, Adam Yenser. I have a weekly satirical news show called The Canceled News on there. And if you want to see me live, I'm going to be at Gutty's Comedy Club in Indianapolis on October 8th and 9th.
Indianapolis. Okay, cool. Alrighty. With that, we didn't kill the fly. I'm sad. But maybe the subscribers
It would have
get
been a
to see
good
get
climax if
more.
you
Yeah,
killed
it
it
would-
right at
really
the
would
end
have
there,
been.
but you
I was
know.
just nervous about your equipment because I
Yeah.
can't afford to replace it. So
I'm sure Seth can. He's got, I mean, gosh, this guy's got money. All right. See you guys.
bye.
Coming up next for Babylon Bee subscribers.
This is from Kyle Mann. Tell me your top 5 favorite things about Kyle Mann.
Great. One, he's not here.
Right?
Oh,
That's your favorite. Top favorite.
I'm kidding. Kyle, I'm so sorry. No. So I told people, look, you don't have to agree with me. I'm just giving you a reason not to hate this person. What if I voted for Donald Trump not because I hate black people, but because I wanted my taxes lowered?
Wondering what they'll say next? The rest of this podcast is in our super exclusive premium subscriber lounge. Go to babylonbee.com/plans for full-length ad-free podcasts. Kyle and Ethan would like to thank Seth Dillon for paying the bills, Adam Ford for creating their job, the other writers for tirelessly pitching headlines, the subscribers, and you, the listener. Until next time, this is Dave DeAndrea, the voice of the Babylon Bee.